Chemical Reactions and Equations by Florence Johnson, the Ashok Leyland School, Hosur. CBSE Grade 10 Chemistry, Chapter 1, Chemical Reactions and Equations. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use higher order thinking skills to relate chemical changes to daily life situations, convert chemical changes into equations, correlate law of conservation of mass to balancing of these equations, analyze the changes that take place to determine a chemical reaction, demonstrate various types of reactions, evaluate a reaction to decide on its nature, and apply these reactions in daily life. You opened your lunchbox to discover the lovely apple you have sliced has suddenly turned brown. The stain of turmeric in your dress turns red when washing with soap. The Australian wildfire has destroyed 5 million hectares of land to ashes. What do you think all these are? All these are chemical reactions. When an apple is cut, oxygen is introduced into the injured plant tissue, changing it to brown color substance. When washed with soap, the stain of turmeric turns red because turmeric contains an acid and soap contains a base, and a reaction happens between the acid and a base. In forest fire, there is a chemical combination that have taken place between the oxygen of the air and the woody material of plants. Not only that, you also can see various chemical reactions that are happening all around you in your daily life, like rusting of iron, combustion of wood, digestion of food, mixing an acid with a base, cooking of an egg, mixing baking soda and vinegar to produce carbon dioxide gas. Having seen all these chemical reactions, let's now see those 3 activities given in your textbook regarding to chemical reaction. Number 1, burning of magnesium ribbon. Number 2, reaction of aqueous potassium iodide with aqueous lead nitrate. Number 3, reaction of zinc granules with dilute sulfuric acid. Activity 1, burning of magnesium ribbon. You just notice the picture given there. Magnesium ribbon, a small piece of it is taken, and when it is burnt, you can see a dazzling white light that is formed. Magnesium reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Mg plus O2 gives MgO. The change noticed here in this reaction is grey magnesium ribbon finally becomes white magnesium powder, and during this process a dazzling white light is also noticed. Moving on to activity 2, reaction of potassium iodide and lead nitrate. Initially, when you look at the picture given here, initially both the solutions, that is potassium iodide and lead nitrate, are colorless. When they are mixed with each other, yellow color precipitate is formed instantaneously. Lead nitrate and potassium iodide react with each other to form lead iodide and potassium nitrate. This lead iodide is a precipitate. The change noticed here is yellow precipitate is formed and 2 liquids form a solid. Activity 3, reaction between zinc and dilute sulfuric acid. Zinc granules are taken in a test tube and dilute sulfuric acid is added to it. Hydrogen gas is evolved from the surface of the metal, and this evolved hydrogen gas passes through the delivery tube, and if it is tested with a burning candle, it explodes with a pop sound, proving that it is hydrogen gas. Zinc reacts with sulfuric acid and forms zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. The change noticed here is a gas is evolved, and also with that change in temperature is also noticed because hydrogen gas has a high calorific value. Using all the examples explained above, we can come to a common conclusion that these are some of the common observations that take place during a chemical reaction. Change of state of substance, change in color of a substance, evolution of gas, or change in temperature. Having learnt various chemical reactions, we should know what a chemical equation is. A chemical equation is a way to represent a chemical reaction in a paper using symbols and formulae. In other words, you can say it is a concise and informative way of explaining a chemical reaction. It has two parts. Substances that take part in a reaction are reactants, and substances that are produced in the reaction are products. We all know that the total mass of the universe is constant. If it is so, then a chemical equation also has to have its mass constant. It also should follow the law of conservation of mass. Total mass of the reactants should be equal to the total mass of the products. Total mass of the elements in the initial stage must be equal to the total mass of the products in the final stage, or number of atoms found initially should be equal to the number of atoms formed finally. There are various steps to balance a chemical equation. First, we need to write the skeletal unbalanced equation. In this skeletal unbalanced equation, we need to count the number of atoms on each side. If they are not equal, we need to add coefficient to make the number of atoms equal. If necessary, we need to reduce the coefficients to the lowest possible ratio. Update everything, cross-check to see if the atoms are balancing finally. Now this is a sample equation which we have to balance. Zn plus HCl gives ZnCl2 plus H2. In this reaction, when you notice, there are 2 chlorine atoms in the product side, whereas only 1 in the reactant side. To make them equal, you need to put a coefficient 2 before HCl. When you do so, the final reaction becomes Zn plus 2 HCl gives ZnCl2 plus H2. If now you count the number of atoms, be it zinc or hydrogen or chlorine, all of them will be same both in the reactant side and in the product side. Therefore, this reaction is balanced. You can also try various reactions. We can make a chemical equation more informative by writing the physical states of substances within a bracket. Gaseous state can be represented by G, liquid by L, solid by S, and aqueous substance by AQ. Now here you can see a sample complete chemical equation which has the physical states also written. Na in solid state, H2O in liquid state becomes NaOH solid, giving H2 gas outside. All chemical reactions involve the transfer of energy. Reactions which release energy in the form of heat are called exothermic reactions, and the reactions which absorb energy in the form of heat are called endothermic reactions. In an endothermic reaction, the product would be at a higher level, whereas in an exothermic reaction, since it releases energy, the product would be at a lower level. Having learnt about chemical reactions, we should know the 4 main types of chemical reactions: combination, decomposition, displacement, and double displacement reaction. Let us see each of them in detail. Combination reaction. Look at the picture there. Calcium oxide, on adding to water, becomes calcium hydroxide. There are 2 reactants. Both of these reactants have combined to form only one product. A plus B giving AB. Therefore, reactions in which two or more reactants combine to form one product are called combination reactions. Moving on to decomposition reaction. A reaction in which a single reactant breaks down to form two or more products is called a decomposition reaction. As how it's given in the picture, AB splits up to form A plus B. Few examples are given. Water splitting up into hydrogen and oxygen. Calcium carbonate splitting up into calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide are all examples of decomposition reaction. This decomposition reaction is of three types: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, and photolytic decomposition. Let's see what thermal decomposition is. Look at the picture. Copper carbonate, which is a green color compound, on heating has formed copper oxide, which is black. Along with that, carbon dioxide is also evolved. Looking at the reaction, CuCO3 decomposes to form CO plus CO2. Therefore, a reaction in which a reactant breaks down to form two or more simpler substances using heat is called a thermal decomposition reaction. Next is electrolytic decomposition reaction. Look at the picture there. Water is taken in a mug. Two electrodes are dipped into it. Both these electrodes are covered with test tubes to collect the outcoming gas. On passing electricity, water splits up to form hydrogen and oxygen gas. A single reactant breaks down to form two or more simpler substances using electricity. Double the amount of hydrogen gas will be formed at cathode when compared to oxygen formed at anode. That is because in water, the ratio of hydrogen is to oxygen is 2:1. Such reactions where a reactant breaks down to form simpler substances using electricity is called electrolytic decomposition reaction. Next is photolytic decomposition reaction. You can see silver chloride that is taken and kept in sunlight. After some time, what happens? This silver chloride splits up to form silver and evolves chlorine gas in the process. So, AgCl splitting up to form Ag plus Cl2. Initially, silver chloride taken was white, but the final silver that was formed has become grey in color. A reaction in which a single reactant breaks down to form two or more simpler substances in the presence of sunlight is called photolytic decomposition reaction. The third one is displacement reaction. A chemical reaction in which one element replaces another element in a compound. A plus BC gives AC plus B. A has replaced B here. So, in such displacement reactions, a more reactive metal only will replace a less reactive metal from its compound. In the example given, zinc plus copper sulfate forms zinc sulfate plus copper. If you try to put copper into zinc sulfate, no reaction takes place because copper is less reactive than zinc. The last type is double displacement reaction. It's a type of reaction where the reactants exchange their ions. These reactions take place instantaneously and a precipitate is also formed in such reactions. AD plus BC after reacting form AC plus BD. AgNO3 plus NaCl mutually exchange their ions and forms AgCl plus NaNO3. Having learnt about the four main kinds of reactions, we should also know what oxidation and reduction reactions are. The reason is these reactions are the principal sources of energy on this planet. They are there seen in cellular respiration and photosynthesis, and these are energy producing reactions in industries too. What are oxidation and reduction reactions? Oxidation means addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Reduction means addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. Reactions in which oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously are redox reactions. In a redox reaction, the word redox, red stands for reduction and ox stands for oxidation. One of the reactant in this redox reaction is oxidized, whereas the other one is reduced. Two examples are given here. CuO plus H2 forming Cu plus H2O. Here CuO has become Cu. This is reduction, and H2 has become H2O. This is oxidation. The second example is Fe3O4 plus H2 gives Fe plus H2O. Fe3O4 becoming Fe is reduction, whereas H2 becoming H2O is oxidation. In a redox reaction, we can see an oxidizing and a reducing agent. Oxidizing agent supplies oxygen, whereas reducing agent removes oxygen. Fe2O3 plus Al gives Al2O3 plus Fe. Here, Fe2O3 is the oxidizing agent because it supplies oxygen, helps Al to become Al2O3. And Al has finally become Al2O3 but made this Fe2O3 to become Fe. Therefore, it has removed oxygen and therefore it is the reducing agent. Corrosion and rancidity are two real-life examples of redox reaction. What is corrosion? Gradual wearing away of a metal due to moisture, air or chemicals around it is called corrosion. In the case of rusting, Fe2O3 plus X molecules of water is formed when iron reacts with moist air. And in the case of copper, a green copper carbonate is formed, CuCO3.CuOH twice, which is basic in nature. And in the case of silver, silver sulfide is formed because silver reacts with H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide in air. How can corrosion be prevented? Yes, it can be prevented by cutting off the contact between metal and air, coating a metal with something that does not allow corrosion, applying oil or paint or grease over the metal, or coating a corrosive metal with a non-corrosive metal that can prevent corrosion. That is like galvanizing, coating with zinc, or electroplating, anodizing, alloying. All these are the processes wherein a non-corrosive metal is coated over a corrosive metal to prevent corrosion. What is rancidity? Rancidity is an aerial oxidation that happens in fats and oil containing food items which is left for a long time. It gives foul smell and a bad taste to the food. Rancidity can be prevented by packing the food in airtight containers, packing with nitrogen gas, vacuum packaging, inert gas packaging, refrigerating, or adding antioxidants and preservatives, etc. To include technology in my class, I have opened up a Flipgrid, which is a Microsoft tool, and asked my students to record their videos explaining what rancidity is. When you click this link given here, you will be able to see and hear what my students have explained about rancidity. Thank you.